Don't you love Mulan, you guys? The live action film just came out. Hopefully you've seen it. If not, we're going to teach you today how to live your values and how we can make a man or woman out of you. So we'll talk about that later. Mulan was awesome, by the way. So check it out on Disney Plus if you haven't had the chance to yet. But thank you for listening in on our monthly staff meeting. Hopefully this will be our last virtual staff meeting. We think we're going to go to in-person meetings next month. We'll do different times so we can socially distance at the meetings, but we want to get back in person. It loses its savor after some time to do these virtual meetings, and I don't think you're all watching them, to be honest with me. Right? Is that true? So yeah, I think it is. So anyways, I thought I would share some thoughts with you really quickly. Thank you all for being such prize fighters and fighting to the end of this crazy COVID nonsense that we're dealing with. We've also been given surprise punches as well from an earthquake earlier this year and a crazy windstorm yesterday, Tuesday, that really just threw us for a loop. Turned our power off for about 12 hours, so that was a new adventure for us here. But I just want to thank you for your perseverance, for your diligence in working that day, and with such positive attitudes. I didn't hear one word of complaint from the servers who were carrying those carts up 5 stories of stairs to get those the residents hot food at that. Nothing from our CNAs who have been wearing face shields. They've been dealing with this COVID crisis and working in the dark, having to do what they do in those resident rooms in the dark. Just so impressed with you all and grateful for your contributions and for your perseverance and your flexibility and adaptability and just your overall excellent attitudes. Thank you so much for being examples to me and for your awesomeness. So we'll talk more about some of the COVID stuff here in a second, but I'll get to that. But I wanted to kind of go through some other items too. First of all, our Personal Touch Award for the month of August. And it's given in the month of September, so I guess it's for the month of September, but it happened in August. So it goes to our new recreation assistant, Vicky, in our memory care. She's awesome. She has been an individual who has, since day one, just kind of been thrown into the mix of things, but she has created so much life and vibrant energy in our 5th floor memory care, which is now called the Mill Creek Cottage. She's been awesome to recognize the individual needs of the residents. That's what it's all about. Connecting personally with the individuals we're serving or working with. And one of our residents has a little baby or stuffed animal that she carries around, and Vicky took time to go out and find a little stroller to bring in to give to this resident so she can spend time with her baby. She makes these amazing baking classes and cooking classes back there. And just again, it brings so much life and energy to that area that needs it so much. So you've been nominated and you have received the Personal Touch Award for this month, Vicky. So thank you. I have an award for you in my office when you want to come and claim that. So thankful for your service and for your example to all of us. So awesome. So I mentioned it. We listened to a little bit about it earlier. The Disney training topic for the month. Live your values. Just like Mushu teaches us in the film Mulan. He's not in a live action film though. There is no dragon, unfortunately. There is a phoenix and a shapeshifter and some bad guys that run up walls. It's kind of weird, but kind of cool. But anyways, live your values. This is our theme for the month, our training topic. And so we want you all to recognize the importance of living and working every day of your lives with honesty, integrity, respect, openness, and courage. And I love the quote by Walt Disney that's all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. You remember this awesome scene in Mulan where everyone's trying to climb up this pole and it's impossible and nobody can do it? Well, Mulan finds a way to use those values that she embodies, and just a little bit of ingenuity and creativity, and she climbs and scales up that pole and is the first to do so. I love that scene. And I love the fact that, each and every one of us are climbing our own poles that seem impossible to do. I never could have thought that we could have lived through the crazy year that we have, and we've been doing it well. We've had to be super creative and adaptable, as I mentioned earlier. Had to really create new innovative approaches to caring for the residents, but we're doing it. And the residents are happy, and they're not, for the most part, the residents are happy. They have their moments, but who wouldn't after 6 months of living just in those small apartments? But we're grateful that we have the ability to live our values here at the workplace, and we want to see those come to fruition. And the biggest value of all, I think they're all super important, but integrity. Act in a manner that is consistent with words and belief. So live the way that you say you want to live, and in the way you believe. And that's in a way that you're doing it. You're doing the best work when nobody's watching. That's when we know how our level of integrity reflects upon us as an individual. That's the values that we want to respect. So I think having courage, I just love that piece too. Pursue beliefs with strength and perseverance. So watch Mulan. It shows a lot about courage, and it teaches us some lessons about how we want to live each and every day during this crazy world we're living in. So anyways, that's our training topic for the month. So we'll hang that up in the break room, refer to it, live it, and we'll kind of keep moving forward. Anniversaries for September. So those of you who have completed yet another year, here we go. So we have a bunch of new folks that started in September. Annie Crowell, happy 1-year anniversary. She's a med tech in our memory care. Kenya Cruz, one of our fine housekeepers. She's awesome. Happy anniversary to you. Sage Dockstader, oh my goodness, you've been here for 3 years. That's longer than I've been here. Congratulations to you. Antonio Hatcher, one of our excellent servers. Jennifer Miners, happy anniversary. She is she's our memory care supervisor. She's been here for 2 years now. And then the remaining folks have been here for a year. Henry Osheku, memory care CNA, he's awesome. Min Jong, she is one of our med techs in our assisted living. She's hit 1 year. Emilio Zegarra, he has been our driver here for a year. What a big month. And then Melanie Polini, my administrative assistant, she's been here for a year. So we have a lot of celebrations to be living up here. And then Patrick Williamson, he's been with the company for 4 years, but here I believe 3 of those, if I'm not wrong on that. So congratulations to him as well. So a great month for anniversary. So come and grab your gift card from me in my office, and we will celebrate your anniversary that way, and just with another year of continued service. So thank you so much. So that's that. Okay, Senior Living Week. We typically Assisted Living Week is the name of it, but since we're a larger building than just Assisted Living, we're doing Senior Living Week. It was going to be next week, but this week's events made us postpone it to the week after. But we're going to celebrate you all as caregivers. The theme is caring is essential. And so we're going to go over a couple of different areas. Here's the poster we'll have hung up here shortly. Resident care, community care, self-care, family care, and staff care. And so we're going to do different activities each day and have, of course, different dress-up themes. Why wouldn't we do that? That's how we do things here. But we're going to do things such as, self-care. We're going to have, massage chairs back here and some soft music and some healthy snacks for you all. Everything we're going to do is going to be socially distant, of course, and safe to do. Of course, we're going to do some karaoke again because that was super successful during our Decades Week for Staff Appreciation. But Senior Living Week, we want to celebrate you all. Our residents are going to be nominating our care champions, which will be coming out of the population watching this staff meeting. And so be aware of that. They're going to nominate them, and we'll give those awards out on Friday. Not next week, but the following week. So the last week in September. So good. All right, so stay tuned for that. Awesome. I think a couple other things to kind of share, just some housekeeping notes with you all. Swearing at the village. That's a weird comment and a weird topic, but we really need to be mindful of the language we're using. For example, the only word that starts with an F that has 4 letters in it is food. I don't want to hear any other words that start with an F that only have 4 letters, because that is super offensive and it's super inappropriate in a professional environment. This is a professional environment, and we do not want to continue language that way. So cease to communicate with the words that start with F except for the word food if it has 4 letters, okay? Other swearing, we want to make sure our conversation pieces and our language and our vocabulary is appropriate at all times. So be mindful of that. That's the expectation and the standard that I'm sharing with you all, because that's the kind of village we want to be, okay? So that's that, okay? Uniforms, make sure that you're complying with the uniform standard. Why is that? I know that uniforms provide a sense and a level of security and safety for the residents. That means that they can identify who we are in our roles in this building, and especially as we're entering their rooms, they need to know, okay, they're dressed this way, that's safe that they come into my room because they're a CNA, they're a server. And so it's a sense of safety and security. Obviously, there's a level of professionalism that it exhibits, and our residents, they want to have and see a level of professionalism. So if you don't have your uniform or you're questioning what it is, see your supervisor. If it's a matter of supply, we need to get those supplies in so we can get them to you. But name badges also are part of your uniform. We need to see you wearing these name badges. We need to see you with these green stickers on your name badges so we know you've screened to come into work and you're mindful of the fact that we have precautions in place to keep our residents safe and healthy, okay? So remember that for uniforms. What we're going to be doing as well is a Stay Safe to Stay Open campaign, or pledge, better said. It's a campaign that's going throughout the state of Utah. It's more for businesses. We are a business. We are in business to make money. I know it sounds like we're in the business to care for people, which we definitely do, but that's a way to stay in business, is to earn money, of course. So we need to stay open. We need to continue to have residents move in. We need to be able to take excellent care of them so they want to stay here with us. And that's our business. And so we need to keep the doors open for business. And how we do that is by staying safe. So the pledge is nothing different than what we're doing, but we're going to ask every employee to do that. So you go to stayopenutah.org. It's a super simple questionnaire, about 5 different screens of questions. It takes maybe 3 minutes, where you all take a pledge to sanitize, to wear a mask in public, to, there's about 12-ish items on there. I forget. I took the pledge myself and I've already forgotten. But we want you all to do it so we can identify, and our residents can identify as well, that you've taken that pledge to keep them safe. And we will provide for you all a sticker that you can wear on your name badges, which is part of your uniform, so we can continue to be mindful of the ways we can stay safe for our residents and the ways we can keep COVID out of this building. So stay tuned for more information on that, but we'd like you to start looking at that. You go to stayopenutah.org. A couple of the categories you want to align yourself with, you're going to choose the category medical, dental, and nursing care. And then for the industry, you're going to select senior living. And then you pledge on behalf of your business, which is Legacy Village of Sugar House. So once you do those items, you'll receive clearance that you've taken the pledge, and we'll give you the sticker so you can be wearing that. More details to come, though. Start checking it out if you'd like to. But my last piece of knowledge and that I want to impart is what we've learned from COVID is that masks make a difference, folks. Wear your masks at all times in every area of this building. If you're in the kitchen, especially, make sure you're wearing a mask at all times. Even if you're testing food back there, maybe just the chefs at that point, but we don't want our servers to be doing that. There's an appropriate place for that to be done, and that's the break room, of course. We don't want to have any moments where our masks are off and we could be potentially contaminating this area of the building. We don't know a lot of times until it's a little too late that we have been infected with COVID. Typically, you're the most contagious before you even have symptoms. So that's been the case in both situations that we've lived. Also, it makes a big difference if residents are wearing masks when you're caring for them. So CNAs, if we can get our residents to wear masks when you're caring for them, that makes a big difference as well. School started. Labor Day just passed by. We're dang tired of COVID. We're starting to get together as social groups. We know that. Socially distance yourself as much as you can. You have a responsibility here. If you cannot do that, if you just cannot stay away from big groups of friends and from going out and about, don't come to work. It's as simple as that. I know that we need folks here working, but we don't need you here if you're bringing in COVID. So the risks are too large. And so honestly, we have to continue to live. We have to be able to have connections with human beings. We have to go to school. But you can wear your mask, you can sanitize, you can keep away from folks, keep a distance. We know that the biggest risk is if you're with people within a 6-foot distance for longer than 10 to 15 minutes. 10 minutes is going to be our standard, let's just say that. And if you wear a mask, it makes a difference. So mask it up, sanitize it up. When you come to this building, make sure you're mindful of all of your potential exposure issues. If you have a doubt or a fear, reach out to your supervisor, because we want to keep our residents safe and we need to do that. Yeah, that's that. Continue to socially distance yourself. If you're gonna be with people, make sure it's socially distant. If you're gonna be in public, wear a mask. If you're gonna be here, always have a mask on too. It's simple, it's crazy, and we're tired of it, but it's so life-saving. So we have to do it, okay? Second to last, our code word for the day is Mulan. I want you all to tell me the word Mulan. I'm gonna be crossing your names off of a checklist and making sure that you've watched this video, because you need this training. You need to be reminded of the social distancing. You need to know, the news of the building. So the keyword being Mulan, you're gonna come tell me. If I'm not available, we'll have you tell Melanie at the desk so that we're aware of the fact that you've watched this video. So, and we'll put your name in a raffle for a great prize at the end of the I guess towards the end of the month, or maybe during Senior Living Week. That's when we'll draw some awards for that. So you want to be entered, but you also need to get credit for attending or listening in on this meeting. So, all right, remember the keyword is Mulan, because that's the topic. Live your values. Mushu told us to do so. All right. Second to last, I have one last item too. This is going to be hanging up in the break room. It's very clear. It has a QR reader. This is it's a quick video to answer some of your questions on how to check for your pay stubs. The information is here, or there's a Vimeo code there. It's the Employee Self-Service website, ESS. Need a copy of your pay stub or change your personal information? Tax season is going to be here before we know it. Can you believe that? It's midway through September already, almost. So yeah, you'll need this information. It's by the time clock. If you're ever looking for your pay stubs, to change information, if you've moved or if you've gotten married and you change your last name, you need to change and update that information on the Employee Self-Service website. So there you go. Last but not least is our in-service. Okay, so recognizing early signs and symptoms of illness. So what that means for us all is, how do we know if a resident is coming down with something? It's important to learn at this time because, well, COVID, hello, have you heard of that word before? So I think we have. But ultimately, it's all about recognizing signs, reporting them, and following up. So those are the three main things. What do you want to recognize? If this resident that you know has a change, if there's extra tiredness or lethargy, if there's congestion, if there's sudden bouts of GI issues, if they have bruising or swelling of some sort, anything that seems different, of course you're going to want to report that. Report to your supervisor, who then would report to our nurse for our assisted living, or to Spencer in our independent living. We meet together every day as a leadership team, called in a stand-up meeting, as it's called. At 9:30, we discuss resident changes of condition. We're only as good as the information you give to us. We see residents, but you see them more than we do. So if the resident that you know has had a change, I had a server come to me yesterday, 2 days ago. She recognized that a resident in the dining room, that one that comes down to the dining room, was showing more of a little bit more slurred speech. Motor movements are a little bit slower. That's something that is definitely needing to be reported to the nurse. So she came to me, I reported to our nurse, and that's the communication chain. So always recognize anything that may be different, okay? And then you want to report it. Who do you report to? Your supervisor, your direct supervisor, who then brings it to our nurse or to Spencer to oversee those potential changes in those residents. And then I think it's important to recognize this too. You don't want to assume that it's been reported already. Over-reporting is always better than under-reporting or not reporting at all. So we'd rather hear, oh yeah, we know Miss Jane has a black eye, or that she's been extra lethargic, because those are things that we really want to be able to investigate and take care of quickly. One thing that's very important to know, there's a thing called urinary tract infections. If a resident is showing more confusion, more aggression maybe, or extra lethargy, it could be as simple as a urinary tract infection. Now, infections can be treated super easily with an antibiotic. If gone untreated, they could become septic, or at a level where the body reacts very poorly to the level of infection in the body, and then it can kind of go into like a shock state, and then it can require a long hospitalization, IV antibiotics, and it's a disaster. So if we catch things early, it can be a simple oral antibiotic that can solve it. You'd be surprised how confused a resident and quickly a resident's cognition can change with a simple UTI. So we want to catch those levels of cognition. If there's a change, report that. Again, to your supervisor, who reports to our nurse or to Spencer. So it's all about that communication chain. If you come back a different day and you don't think anything's been done, follow up and ask, hey, Dave, did you talk to your nurse about this resident in the dining room that was more confused? Put a bug in our ear and put a fire under our butt sometimes to get us communicating that properly, because our leadership team, while we try, we don't get everything relayed. We have a lot of stuff coming at us, so we need to make sure everything's being passed along, because it's so important. And for the most part we do, but it's always good to follow up on that. So again, recognize, report, repeat. Let's call it those three things, right? But again, anything that seems to be off baseline, that's when you want to report it. Again, injury-based, illness-based, cognition-based is a big component to that too. So hopefully that helps a little bit with being able to recognize signs and symptoms early on. We had one resident in our memory care, for example, super independent. All of a sudden she had 3 falls in one day. It's like, okay, panic button, what's going on? As simple as dehydration, something as simple as that. So we want to be pushing fluids constantly for these residents so we're catching that. There's some simple things that are common geriatric syndromes like a UTI, like dehydration, that can really just change the resident's overall strength and abilities very quickly. So we catch things early, and then we can prevent them from being a longer ranged issue. So yeah, recognize, report, and repeat, all right? Awesome, guys. That's all I have for you today. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and wrap up with some more Mulan music as we turn off the video. But thank you for watching. Remember, the code word is Mulan. Live your values, folks. Thanks for attending. There we go.